So a very good evening to everyone out here who is present for this memory power workshop. And here we are going to begin this webinar. And I hope you attend till the end so that I can help you the most. So in this webinar, I am going to cover three topics like the things which damages our brain, the things which strengthens our brains, and the memory techniques to help memorize better. And if you stay till the end, then I am sure that you are definitely going to get benefited a lot. So what can you expect from this particular webinar? Like we have already done this webinar in the past few weeks, and these are the responses. So I am saying that you stay till the end, and then you would also be able to experience such kind of experiences. Like you can see here, the session was really helpful and it was great experience. Then Amruta Devi also provided her testimonial. Then Tirth Jain, thanks for your valuable time, a wonderful session, learned many informative facts and also the appropriate and the effective way to use the memory techniques. Looking forward to learn more from you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for the webinar. The webinar was very much amazing. Learned so many different memory techniques to learn and retain the information. So I request everybody to stay till the end. And if you stay till the end, then definitely you're also going to get such kind of result. So it can happen that within 1.5 hours, your study journey is going to get transformed. Now, there is also one question in everybody's mind, and that is that will there be an offer at the end? Then yes, there would be an offer at the end too. So stay till the end for the offer, and definitely you're not going to regret it. And the offer will blow your mind, and definitely it is going to help you a lot in your study journey. So let's start our webinar with the things which damages our brain. So the things which damages our brain is number one, inactivity. Just a minute. And the number one is inactivity. So what happens that when we are doing nothing, like we are in a state of procrastination, we are not feeling like doing anything, and we are just wasting our time, we are wasting our day and night, then what happens that because of that memory loss start to begin. So what we can do is, like in place of inactivity, why this inactivity takes place? Because we are overwhelmed by the idea of doing something which is very big. So what we can do is, like instead of thinking about that particular task as a very big task, just break down those tasks into number of small tasks and then complete a small task. So what will happen that when you will complete that small task, it will generate dopamine. So basically dopamine is a hormone which motivates you. Like people says that I'm not motivated enough to study, but in actual what happens that if you do something, then you get the motivation, not otherwise. Like many people say that if I feel motivated, then I will be studying. But actually in real life, in scientific world, it actually happens a bit opposite. Like if you complete a task, then you will feel a bit motivated, and then you will feel motivated to do more tasks. Like supposingly if you are playing some kind of game like the cricket or badminton or anything, whenever you are going for batting or playing as a player, then obviously at the beginning you won't be so much motivated and confident enough to play. But after spending some time into the play, after scoring some points and runs, you would feel motivated and confident, and after that you would be more motivated to score more run or ball more over or play more badminton. So what is happening when you are doing a task, after doing that particular task you are becoming motivated. So never wait for the motivation to come, you have to start doing something So do a small task and it will generate a bit of motivation. It will make you feel proud that yes, today you have done something. And when you do that particular small task, then you feel okay, I can do another task too. When you complete more tasks, then you feel more motivated. So in this way, you would be able to avoid inactivity. The second thing is multitasking. Many people think that if they would be doing multitasking, then what will happen, that after doing multitasking they would be able to complete a lot of work together. But in actually, it's the completely opposite. By doing multitasking, you are actually creating a stressful environment for yourself, and at the same time when you're multitasking, you are doing a lot of wrong things, because of which you commit a lot of mistakes. Like the study has suggested that when you are multitasking, the tendency to do mistake rises from 5% to 30 to 40%. So what is the use of multitasking when you are committing so many of errors? And also when you are multitasking, it releases cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So the more stress hormone is produced in your body, the greater your brain get damages, and it causes brain fog, and we are not able to think properly. So the basic mistake where many students do is like they are multitasking, which because of which they are affecting their studies. So instead of doing multitasking, just focus on one thing at a time. If something is distracting you, then what you can do is like you can take out a note copy and write it down, your distractions, so that you can deal with them after your study hours. So avoid multitasking at all costs, otherwise it is going to cost you a lot. The third thing is screen time. Like screen time denotes to anything like televisions or the mobile phones or the tablets. So what happens that so what happens that when you are enjoying over your phone or tablets like movies or web series or playing games, then what happens, because of that the dopamine level rises in your brain. And when the dopamine level rises, so when the dopamine level rises, what happens, that studying becomes difficult, because studying is a low dopamine activity. And while playing games, watching movies or web series or anything like that, or gossiping with your friends is a high dopamine activity. So when you are at this particular state where you are at a higher dopamine level, then it becomes difficult for you to come down to the low dopamine level to study. So it's really very important that you reduce your screen time. If you reduce your screen time, then your brain dopamine level would be low and it would be enough to help you in studies. Like in the examination, you might have noticed that during the examination time, even staring at the wall seems so amusing. Like you're enjoying watching even the plain wall. And if there is some kind of portrait out hanging in the brain, then you can at least uh seems like some kind of problem is here. So if even and during the examination time, what happens that if there is a portrait on the wall, then what will happen, then you would be enjoying watching that particular portrait. You would be observing every minute detail of that particular portrait hanging on the wall. Why? Because you are at a very low dopamine level because of studying. So even watching the wall seems so amusing.
हाँ हाँ.
So if you are watching televisions like movies and all over your phone, then what will happen? Then that would be high dopamine level. And after that, if you try to study, then you won't be able to focus. You would be like, okay, I can do one thing, that I would be watching something for 30 more minutes, and after that, I would be going into study. But again, if you open the book, you don't feel like studying. So what you can do is like you can switch off the mobile phone or keep aside them for 10 minutes at least. When you stay in silent for at least 10 minutes, what will happen, your dopamine level, brain dopamine level would drop down, and then you would be able to prepare yourself for the study purpose, and you would be able to study more, you would be able to focus. But if you try to go from directly from mobile or televisions to directly to study, you won't be able to study. So it's really very important that you avoid screen time. Then the fourth point is, it's a very basic thing. Like while we are sleeping, most of the people, what we do is like we cover our face while sleeping. So what we can do is like and because of that, what happens that when we cover our face while sleeping, we are mostly inhaling carbon dioxide inside the blanket, and less oxygen reaches our brain. And because of that, what happens? The brain gets damaged. So it's really very important that when you're sleeping, don't cover your face at all, so that more oxygen reaches your brain. Otherwise, in the longer run, it is going to affect your brain a lot. And the last point is really very important, and I have covered into the other section too. That is compromising with sleep. So this is one of the most important thing, like which people do, is like they are compromising with the sleep, and because of which they are affecting their brain. People think that sleeping is like a useless activity, and because of this sleeping, I am not going to get benefited at all. But in actually, sleeping is a very magical process. So if you're compromising with your sleep, then definitely you are going to have a lot of problem in the study journey, because you won't be able to concentrate in your study, you won't be able to memorize. Also at the same time, you would be feeling too much irritated. And you must have noticed in your regular days also that when you are not slept properly, then what happens that the next day you are feeling very irritated, you are fighting with everybody, you are not being able to concentrate into the class. So compromising with sleep is a big no. So you need to understand your sleep requirement and complete your sleep always. And this is such an important topic that I have covered into the next topic too. So before I move on to the next topic, I would like to ask everybody that there is any kind of doubt with respect to this particular topic. Chat, write in the chat box your doubt, and if this particular section was mind blowing for you, then write bulb on in the chat box, so that I can understand that this particular section was important for you. Sir, ऑनलाइन क्लासेस होती है, how to avoid screen time. I am talking about web series, movies, and all. So if you are doing online classes, then you can't avoid it. Obviously it is necessary. And when I was also studying for the examination of my CA exams, then also I also had to watch um, like the classes into the in the laptop itself. So I'm not talking about the screen time related to the web series or the movie. I'm not talking about for the online classes, I'm talking about relating to the web series or movies. So basically I am trying to tell you that you need to avoid the things which are of high dopamine activity, which is making like pleasureful activity, because of which you're not feeling like studying. But online classes are the things which is helping you to study, so you can continue with that. Kartik Jadhav, how much hours should we at least sleep? As I told that sleep is a very important activity, and I am going to cover in the next section in very much detail. So don't worry, I am going to answer this question also, and apart from this, I am going to answer more things related to the sleep. Okay, so I am moving on to the next section, things which strengthens our brain. And as I told that I would be covering the sleep topic again in this particular thing, because sleep is a very important thing. Like if you don't do it, then it is going to affect you. So I am going to tell you how to utilize it. So sleeping, so as the Karthik asked that how many hours should we sleep, so at least we should sleep for 7.5 hours to make our understanding power and memory stronger. Now, the study of the study of sleep suggests that we have to sleep in cycles. Like in one cycle, there is 90 minutes. It consists of REM sleep and non-REM sleep. That is a very technical thing. So I'm not going to go too much in detail. But in one cycle consists of 90 minutes. And the science suggests that we should sleep for at least 5 to 6 cycles. So if we consider 5 cycles, then 5 into 90 minutes, it will be 7.5 hours. So you need to sleep for at least 5 cycles. That is 7.5 hours. However, it is also said that about 4% of the population of the world can also sustain and work properly even if they sleep for 6 hours a day. So it would be sufficient. However, you need to understand that what is your body requirement. So If it's not satisfied with the 7.5 hours, then you should go for 9 hours. And if you feel that you feel rejuvenated even after 6 hours, then 6 hours is also enough. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that you need to sleep for 6 hours. However, as per the modern science, the deep sleep quality has reduced, so it is being suggested that we should sleep for 7.5 to 9 hours. Also, the sleeping time should be around 10 p.m. Why? For that, I would be giving you the example of Lionel Messi, which is a very famous footballer. And that particular footballer was suffering from growth deficiency, growth hormone. And because of that, his stature was very less as compared to the other fellow mates. So this was happening because growth hormone was not being produced in his body. So the growth hormone is being produced in our body at this particular time, that is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So the earlier you sleep, the more you would be benefited by the hormone, which is the growth hormone, which keeps us young, which keeps us rejuvenated, which helps us to heal properly on timely basis. And this is because this is one of the reason why we age. Then what happened? Then our sleep requirement get reduced, and because of that, our deep sleep quality also reduces, and because of that, growth hormone production reduces, and that's why our skin sags. So it's really very important that we should sleep early, and 10 p.m. is the best time to sleep because it's the best deep sleep time. There is a difference between deep and dream sleep. I won't be covering that, but you need to understand that it is the best deep sleep time, that is the 10 p.m. You would be able to enjoy 4 hours of deep sleep. Also, while you are sleeping, then cerebrospinal fluid is injected in our brain. Like our brain is made up of 80% of the water, including this particular cerebrospinal fluid. So when we are sleeping, uh, like when we are working during the day, then what happens? The brain waste is generated in our brain. And while we sleep, then this particular fluid, that is cerebrospinal fluid, cleans our brain. So if you are not sleeping properly, then what will happen? Then the cleaning process will not take place properly. And this brain waste, which is typically known as beta amyloid protein, and at the later stage it causes Parkinson diseases, Alzheimer's. So you would be have suffering from the memory losses. So it's really very important that you don't compromise with your sleep at all. And also, if you're not sleeping properly, obviously I have already told that you won't be able to concentrate properly the very next day, and also you won't be able to develop a very good long term memory. The second thing to help our brain, that is strengthen our brain, is drinking water. As drinking water would appear very simple, but actually the water is like an auxiliary, because our body is made up of 70% of water and brain itself is made up of 80% of water. So it is really very important that we provide our brain with the continuous supply of the water. Otherwise, what will happen? Then we will feel fatigue. We won't be able to work for longer hours. So it's really very important we keep on drinking. And also the measurement is like this: like for every 25 kg of body weight. So supposingly if your body weight is 50 kg, then at least you should be drinking 2 liter of water. And however, if your body weight is 60 kg, then you should be drinking for this 3 liters of water. So drinking water is very, very important. However, take a note that while you are drinking water, that make sure that you're not drinking half an hour before, like you are not drinking water half an hour before this having food and half an hour after having food. So avoid that particular thing. And apart from that, you can drink water at a regular interval so that you can keep your brain in a healthy position. Now the third thing is 15 minutes of aerobic exercises. Now what is this aerobic exercises? Aerobic exercise are those exercises which is not anaerobic exercise. So I think that I have made the thing a pretty much like like I have made it more difficult for you to understand. So the basic thing is aerobic exercises are those exercises in which your heart rate increases. You perspire a lot. Like for example, when you are running, when you are jogging, you are swimming, you are skipping, you are jumping. So these are the aerobic exercises in which your heart rate increases. But why do we need to increase our heartbeat rate? It is necessary because when our heartbeat increases, so what will happen? New blood vessels will generate. New blood vessels will reach to the brain. So there would be a more number of blood vessels to reach to the brain, and it will make brain move faster. So it is necessary that we need to do aerobic exercises. And I am suggesting 15 minutes. It's actually not my suggestion. Like, I have studied a book called Telomere, and in that particular book, it is suggested by the scientist itself, neuroscientist, that we should be doing at least 15 minutes of aerobic exercises on a daily basis. Also, at the same time, when we are doing the aerobic exercises, what happens that it generates endorphins. These are very complicated terms which I am saying, but the thing is that you need to focus, that you have to focus on 15 minutes of aerobic 15 minutes of aerobic exercises. Rest of the things I am explaining because it's all scientific things, and I'm trying to give you evidences, like I am going to say that I am giving you scientific proofs that it actually works. So while we are doing the aerobic exercises, it generates endorphin, which reduces stress. As I already told that the stress is because of the cortisol. So basically the endorphin is helping you to reduce the cortisol level. And you might have even noticed that after you have played something, then if you try to study for something, then your productivity level might be doubled or tripled. You might have noticed in the past too, like while you have played, or if you have been running, or you're doing something, then your stress level have gone down and your focus level might have increased. So it's because of the aerobic exercises. It reduces your stress and makes you calm. Also, at the same time, it reduces BDNF. I won't be going in detail. It is known as brain derived neurotrophic factor, and it is a very important factor for the brain. So if you do the aerobic exercises, then BDNF is also generated, and it stimulates neuron production. Like, our brain is made up of approximately 100 billion neurons. And when we do aerobic exercises, what happens that the neurons production increases up to 5 times. So it's really very important that you should be doing aerobic exercises. The more exercise you are doing, the more number of neurons is being generated into your brain, and it is making you smarter. And also at the same time, like as I already told, it will increase your blood vessels to the brain. It will clear the toxins faster and provide more blood to the brain. So overall level, that this basic thing, without spending any kind of money, you can just start jogging or running or cycling, and within 15 minutes of daily exercise you would be able to feel the changes inside you. And if 15 minutes appear a long, then you can start with the 2 minutes, you can start with the 5 minutes. The thing is that you need to start. Once you start and get habituated, then you can increase your timing to the 15 minutes also. So the thing is that you start doing it, and you would definitely feel the difference within yourself within a very quick succession. And the last point is meditation. So meditation, what does meditation do? Meditation improves your concentration and reduces chronic stress. Like, though we see stress as a negative thing, but the thing is that a bit of stress, a little stress, do no harm. Like, if you are completely calm and relaxed, then what will happen? Then we won't feel like studying for the examination. Like, we would be thinking, okay, what happens, like exam is coming, so what, I am calm, I won't be studying. So what is happening? This is the absence of the stress. But a bit of stress, then you, if there is a bit of stress, a little stress, then you would be alert that okay, the exam is coming and I need to study for it. So a little stress is good. But if there is a chronic stress, all the time you are panicking, then what will happen? Then it will create procrastination. You would be tremble, like you would be in a state of trauma. You would be like too much stress. You would be hurting yourself. You would be crying, panicking, but you won't be taking any action, and it will take you to the procrastination stage. So for that particular purpose, it's necessary that you meditate. If you meditate, then you would be able to calm yourself, and also at the same time, like when you meditate, it generates serotonin. So basically serotonin is a happy hormone, and it's like there are four happy hormones and in which serotonin is one of them, and serotonin is responsible for the mood. So if you are doing meditation, then it will improve your mood instantly. So these are the four things, very basic things, which I have told you. Don't have to spend any kind of money in it. You just have to just follow it for some time, and you would be able to feel the difference within yourself. So write in the chat box bulb on if this particular slide has helped you a lot. I want to see the bulb on. Write bulb on or send the bulb button so that I can understand that this particular slide has been helpful for you. Okay, so I am going to take the questions. And one question is that how many hours you choose to sleep during your CA exams, sir? And during my CA exam times, like I was suffering from the insomnia too. However, I personally choose to be sleeping for 6 hours. I was among those 4% of the population where even if I sleep for 6 hours, then it was sufficient. However, at that particular time, I was not having a good knowledge about the sleep. So I was trying to compromise with the sleep, and because of which my productivity was reducing instead of increasing. Like what I was trying to do is like I was trying to sleep for 5 hours. I was trying to reduce my sleeping time so that I can increase my studying time. But actually, I was troubling myself, and at that particular moment, I was having no one to guide me about it. And if you go to the doctors, they would be like suggest they won't be explaining you anything. They don't have so much time. If you are having a sleeping issue, they would just give you sleeping pills. So basically, at that particular time 6 hours was enough, but by the time I reached to the CA final and I had some kind of traumas, then I was also suffering from the insomnia and I wasn't able to even sleep properly, and there was no one to guide me like how I can manage my sleep schedule. So the next question: how many minutes we want to meditation? Okay, so, like I personally used to do 10 minutes of meditation. However, at initial days, like when you are starting it, then you won't be able to do 10 minutes also. You won't be able to do 5 minutes also. So, it's really very important that you just start it. Like, first, you have to develop a particular habit. So, fix a time, fix a routine that, okay, at 7 a.m., I would be doing the meditation at this particular location, like on your bed, or on the floor with the mat on it, and you can do just for 2 minutes even if you're not feeling like doing 10 minutes. So initially I would suggest that 10 minutes is the optimal level. Like I used to feel that if I used to do 10 minutes of meditation, I was very much like my focus level was very good. So 10 minutes of meditation would be a great thing, and if you can extend it then also it's good. However, 10 minutes would be fine. Aspen has said that I need 8 to 8.5 hours sleep. Is it a bad thing? Everyone tells me that. See, the thing is that the everybody don't have the knowledge of neuroscience and the sleep. Like everybody is saying this particular thing because they have heard that this particular thing from the every other people. But the thing is that nobody has studied about the sleep, about how the sleep functions. They don't know about the neuroscience. Like I had too much curiosity about it. So for this particular topic, I have read 3 books. So that is approximately over 1,000 pages. So if you are sleeping for 8 to 8.5 hours, then it's not bad. The bad thing is that if you undersleep, and if you're undersleeping, and if you're not being able to perform during the entire day. So if your body needs 8 to 8.5 hours, then it's fine. Because if you're not feeling good from inside, if you are feeling irritated, you're not being able to concentrate, then what will be happen? Like, what's the benefit of sleeping less? Like if you're sleeping for 6 hours and then trying to study the entire day, but you're not able to concentrate, what will happen? Then it is going to affect your study. You won't be able to memorize, and you would be crying that I am studying so much, then also I am not being able to score more. So if you are sleeping for 8 to 8.5 hours, then it's fine. You don't have to compare with everybody else, because every human being is made unique. As I told that our brain has got 100 billion neurons, and there can be n number of possibility of connections between them. So if your sleep requirement is 8 to 8.5 hours, then it's fine, you can continue with that. How to avoid distractions while watching lectures on YouTube apart from downloading them. How to avoid distractions while watching the lectures on YouTube. Like what I used to do is like uh, I just take out a small copy. Like I keep a small copy, and if I am focusing on something, and if something comes into my mind, then what I do is like I just write it down that these are the things which I have to deal later. So in this way, I was ensured that okay, I will have to deal with it, but not right now. And also, if I'm not dealing with it right now, then it doesn't going to affect me later on because I've written it down. So after my studies is over, I would go through that particular copy and see that okay, these are the things which I have to deal with it. So I will just write it down, and in this way, I would just clear my mind up. How to maintain discipline in recorded lectures. The thing is that you will have to develop habit. Saloni. So the thing is that you will have to develop habit. Discipline will come over time. The thing is that you have to understand the brain science, that is the neurons. Like whatever you are doing initially in the initial days, you won't be feeling like doing anything because the neurons connections are not stronger. But over time, what will happen that when you are like studying through the recorded lectures, and again you are forcing yourself to study for the recorded lectures, then over time what will happen, the neurons connection will become stronger, and you would be stay more disciplined and more focused, and you would be able to study for the longer hours. So it's just about the time. So you have to stay patient till that particular habit is developed. Like to be person like to being honest, like if I am given, if somebody tells me that I have to attend 3 hours of lecture, then I won't be able to attend 3 hours of lecture. But as of now, but in the past, what I used to do is like I could cover up the 3 hours of lecture in 1.5 hour itself. And in the within a day, I used to cover like 8 to 9 lectures of 3 hours each. So because I was like my habit was developed in that. So basically you have to develop habit, and over time you would be easily able to attend the recorded lectures. Will generalizing everything really help? Yeah, actually it does help because it keeps your mind clear. Like when you are only thinking about it, then what happens that you keep on thinking and you just make the things worse. You keep make the things bigger in your mind. But when you write it down somewhere, then what happens that you start to get an idea like where you are going. You start to get some kind of solution. So basically journalizing would definitely help you. And sir, I don't have a particular sleeping schedule. Sometimes I sleep for enough hours, but sometimes I don't. Basically, it's irregular. Uh, Juhi Joshi, I would suggest that you will have to maintain a bit of scheduling, and for that particular purpose, you should make a clear like bifurcation between the use of bed. Like if you are like eating in bed, sleeping in bed, watching movies in bed, so what will happen that your body would be making a your body would be making like association in this particular manner, like the bed is meant for everything, and because of that you won't be able to fall asleep when you try to sleep. So basically if you are doing like eating dinner or studying, then pick a place that you would be studying on the study table. If you are doing the eating food, then you would be doing at the dining table. So in this particular river, what will happen then, your body would be able to make a connection with the bed, that the bed is meant for sleeping. So when you enter the bed at that particular time, then what will happen, then your body will instantly start to feel relaxed. And also at the same time, what happens that when most of the time we keep our mobile on or we keep the light on, and our skin is very smart. Like we think that we are taking charge of our body, but actually it's not. What happens that when our skin encounters darkness, the melatonin is being produced in our body, and it like induces us to sleep. So keep your lights off, and in this way, what will happen then? Your skin will get contact with the melatonin, with the darkness, and melatonin will be produced, and it will help you sleep. And also, if your sleep schedule is not regular, then I have, as I already told, inculcate 15 minutes of aerobic exercise, because when you exercise, even adenosine is produced. I am telling all the technical terms, but the thing is that it's all science. Adenosine also helps in sleeping. So when you start doing regular exercises, it will help you to maintain a regular sleeping schedule. Okay, I am now going to take one more question, and then I am going to switch with the next topic. Otherwise, I would stay stuck in this particular topic itself. So I am just taking one more question. Uh, Aspen has asked one more question, sir. How to maintain discipline? Okay, I have answered this. Hmm. And then, sir, good morning, good evening. Which are the recorded classes best for CA final first group one? See, these are very specific question. I am here to help you in studying techniques, not like I won't be able to guide you from where you can take the coaching. You can ask your immediate seniors with regard to this particular thing, because I had cleared my CA a long back. Like I am currently an FCA, so it would be a very tough thing for me to I say that from where you should be taking classes. Okay, now I am going to the next topic, and after the end of this particular webinar, I would be taking more questions, and at that particular time, I would be answering you all the doubts. So stick till the end. So we have arrived to the last topic of the day, and this last particular topic also consists of the three techniques, and this is memory technique, and these are the techniques which I have personally devised. Like many other would be also be using, but the thing is that there is some aesthetic to use this particular techniques, which I have been able to identify, and because of which, even though I have got poor memory, like to be honest, I really have a very poor memory, still I was able to score even exemptions in theory subjects, though my memory was poor because of all these particular techniques. So before I start with the memory techniques, I would be saying one thing, that when the many people would be using mnemonics or memory techniques, but the thing is that still their memory techniques fails, and this happens just because of one thing. And this is a very common problem with everybody, and the problem is that when we are devising a memory technique, we never associate the question with the answer. Like we are devising memory techniques for the answers, but we are never connecting the question with the answer. And in this way, what happens that the in the examination hall, we are just we are not able to identify what was the answer to this particular question. You might be having created shortcuts for the advantages, disadvantages, and features. You might have created some kind of images or story or something, but you haven't connected with the question, and because of that, what happens that you forget that this particular answer belong to this particular question or not. And in this way, even though you have put some effort behind memorizing this particular answer, still you forget during the examination hall. So it's really very important that you connect the question with the answer. And with this, I would be starting the memory techniques. And the number one is story technique, the second is word technique, and the third is diagram technique. You might be thinking that you might have been using this particular technique, and you know the aesthetic to use it, but stay to the end, because I might be able to give you a new insight to use this particular techniques. And now moving on to the next slide, and the first technique, that is the story technique. And obviously these all the techniques are tried and tested. So if you have got pen and paper, as I've already mentioned in the WhatsApp group, that keep the pen and paper to make the notes. So write down in the copy like the advantages of the cloud computing, and start copying all the things, and then I would give you all I will help you to memorize this particular answer in three different styles. So write down the advantages of the cloud computing, and then below that write a backup and restore data, improved collaboration, excellent accessibility, low maintenance, mobility, services in paper use, and unlimited storage capacity, data security. Write it down in the copy. I am giving you 5 minutes. Write it down in the copy, and then we would be moving on to the next slide. I am saying this because if I move on to the next slide, then you won't be able to see this particular slide. Like in the next slide, I have given the technique to memorize this thing. So if I move on to this particular thing, then you won't be able to say this thing. So write it down in the copy and let me know in the chat box that you have copied it. And if you don't have got the copy, then at least do one this particular thing, that you take the screenshot of this particular slide. After you have completed, then write in the chat box that you have completed. Okay, spin is completed. Write it down quickly, everybody, or if you don't have got the pen or paper, then at least take the screenshot of this particular slide. It's really very important to stay focused, because the things which I am going to teach you after this is going to definitely help you and blow your mind. And these are the magical techniques because of which I have been able to clear chartered accountancy examinations, and even been able to score the highest marks in the North Bengal in the IPCC. So these are very important techniques which I have been able to figure out with a lot of struggle, because no one was present to guide me in this aspect. So even though I was having poor memory, then also with the help of these memory techniques, I was able to score a good marks in the examination and clear the CA final examination too. So okay, I am moving on to the next slide now. The story technique. So the thing is that you have to, as I already told, you have to connect the question with the answer, and make sure that you don't have to make any kind of sensible story or anything. Like the story can be funny, ridiculous, and it doesn't make even if it doesn't make any kind of sense, then also there is no issue at all. So the story stands like this: you need to visualize a cloud, like what we are studying, like it's the advantages of the cloud computing, right? So here we are imagining a cloud. Imagine a white cloud, like because of the advantages, so it can be white. Supposingly, if I was telling you about the disadvantages, then it you can have imagine a black cloud. So you need to visualize a cloud. This is a story, you have to write it down, yeah. And at the same time, right now you don't have to write it down. Like I am saying, when you would be creating a story, take a story, then you will have to write it down into your book or copy, so that you can remember later on. As of now, you can just take the screenshot of this particular slide, and then you can, after the webinar ends, you can also go through it. So you need to visualize a cloud, which is the main topic. And from that particular cloud, an angel is coming out. Why angel? Because it's the advantages. Because it's the advantages. Like if I was telling about the disadvantages, then I might have told you that you can imagine a devil. So we are keeping a clear bifurcation between the advantages and disadvantages. So we have made a plot for the question. Now that angel is giving you a mobile phone. Why it's giving you mobile phone? Basically, the mobile phone is the shortcut to remember the word mobility, the main point which was there. So imagine that an angel is giving you a mobile phone, and this phone is made up of paper. However, it's illogical thing because no mobile phone is made up of paper. But for the purpose of making a story, I have used that this particular mobile phone is made up of paper. Why I wrote paper? Because the point is services in pay per use. So I use this paper like this. So what I've written, that angel is giving you a mobile phone and this phone is made up of paper. And since it is made up of paper, it is very cheap and maintenance cost is low. So here is the another point, that is the low maintenance cost. So the story is going with the fluency. Like if you see the question in the examination hall, then you would be able to remember this particular story. Now you are assessing this phone. Obviously, like you have got the phone, and then you would be assessing it. So it is helping you to remember the point, that is the excellent accessibility. Now you are assessing this phone and find it very good. However, before assessing, you need to put a password, as the mobile phone ask for the secure like password, like all the mobile phone ask us to set a password. So it is also asking you for a password. So what is the purpose of the password? The password purpose is data security. After putting the password, you started using WhatsApp at 2 a.m. while suddenly data backup takes place. Like I don't know about your phone. Like when I'm using WhatsApp at 2 a.m., then what is happening, that at that particular time the data backup is being taken place, and because of that I am not being able to access WhatsApp for 4 to 5 minutes till the data backup is being taken place. So it might be happening with you also. So I have used my knowledge, my memory, and my experiences into framing this particular story. You can also create this kind of story based on your experiences, your memory. So it's all depend upon one's creativity. Now, since the WhatsApp is taking backup, so you open Instagram to make a collaboration, which is helping me to remember the point, that is improved collaboration. I use Instagram because in Instagram we have got the options of collaborations. So I am making collaboration with a friend. Also, since it has got unlimited storage capacity, that is what Instagram has got unlimited storage capacity. So you have made dozen of collaboration video in one go. So even though we are making a very nonsense story, then also this particular story is helping you to remember the main answer. Now, if you read it again, then it would be very easy to remember this particular story. You don't have to put additional effort again and again to memorize the answer. Once the story is developed, you have to just go through the story and all the main points will come to you. So, what is the story? You need to visualize a cloud, and from that cloud, an angel is coming out. That angel is giving you a mobile phone, and this phone is made up of paper. And since it is made up of paper, it is very cheap and maintenance cost is low. Now you are assessing this phone and find it very good. However, before assessing, you need to put a password. After putting password, you started using WhatsApp at 2 a.m. when suddenly data backup takes place. Since WhatsApp is taking backup, so you open Instagram to make a collaboration with a friend. Also, since it has got unlimited storage capacity, so you have made dozens of collaboration video in one go. So in this way, this particular one story is helping you to memorize the entire answer. And in the examination hall, if there is a question, what is the advantages of cloud computing? You would be easily able to visualize, okay, cloud computing. So basically there is a white cloud and from that the angel is coming and the angel is giving mobile phone, and you would be able to dictate the entire story easily. So are you blown away with this particular technique? Write on the chat box, blown away. Come on, hurry up, everybody. Okay, okay, blown away, blown away, blown away. Okay, there are n number of blown away. So with even with the one technique you have been, everybody would like everybody is satisfied. I used to make a point only blown away. So even this one technique was sufficient, I guess. But to your surprise, there like as I already told, there are three techniques, and I have just disclosed only one. So wait for the other two, and you would be blown away even more. So I am moving on to the next slide. I am for the moment like deleting all the highlighters from it so that you can take the screenshot of it. So if anybody want to take a screenshot, then I am giving 10 seconds for you to just take the screenshot for the future reference purpose. Sharon has asked how we can use this in FR subject final. Now the thing is that this is the technique which is being used for the theory purpose. For the purpose, practical subject, it won't work as efficiently as it is working for the theory subject. For the practical subjects, I used to use management techniques. Like I had great management techniques because of which I was able to manage my studies. So that even though I had got only 1 month of leave in the CA final, then also I was able to clear both the subject. Though it was second attempt, I failed in the first attempt, but I cleared the second attempt in the 1 month, a 1 month leave itself, and including this particular practical subject issue too. So there are techniques in which by which you can also manage the practical subject too. Stay till the end, and I would be teaching all the things. Like I will leave no stone unturned till the end. I would be giving you the complete solution so that your study becomes easy. Now the second technique is word technique. Like many people would be saying, "Arey, ye to mujhe pata hai." Like I know this particular technique. I have used n number of times. Like taking out the alphabets and memorizing that particular alphabet. So what student do is like they would be taking out triple A and making AAA or A cube or ABCD or DCF. Something like this, and they would be expecting that they would be remembering this particular shortcut, and they would be able to they if when the need arises during the examination hall, they would be able to like reproduce those shortcut in the examination hall. But in examination hall, they forget that this particular shortcut was for which question. So the right technique to use this word technique is that try to make a dictionary word as close as possible. Try to take out alphabets in such a manner from all the points that you would be able to make a dictionary word as close as possible. You don't have to make a perfect dictionary word, but try to make as close as possible so that you can at least visualize that particular thing. Because you won't be able to visualize the alphabets during the examination hall, but if you create some kind of meaningful word, you would be able to visualize it. And the thing is that you have to connect the answer with the question. So how do I use it? So I would be teaching you my aesthetic to use it. Like I did, like for the paper use, like the full point was services in paper use, but I used the point alphabet P. Also at the same time, make sure that you are using the alphabets like the consonant and vowels both, so that you can make word. Don't use only the vowels or consonant, otherwise what will happen, you won't be able to make a dictionary word. So take out both the consonant and the vowels. The second point is low maintenance cost. So I took L. Again, the next point is unlimited storage. I took U. So it is one of the vowel. Then there is data security. I took the S. So the word is plus. Now the second section is like mobility. So I took M. Excellent accessibility. So I took A. Then restoring and backup of data. I took R. And for C, like improved collaboration. So though the English, like the dictionary word could be this plus mark, but instead of this I use C. So in the examination hall, you might be thinking that if I am using C instead of K, then won't I make a mix up in the examination hall? But the thing is that when you put a bit of effort while making the shortcut, you won't the make that particular mistake in the examination hall. Instantly, when you remember this particular word plus mark, you would be reminded by your brain itself that there is no K in the plus mark, there is C in the plus mark. So now what we have to do? Like, we have created the answer, we have created the word, but what can happen in the examination hall that we can forget that for which particular question or which particular topic this shortcut belong to. So again, we need to connect the question with the answer. So write this line beside the topic. Plus mark is raining from the cloud. Since it's advantage, so plus mark denotes addition, which will help to memorize faster. So basically, plus mark stands for the advantage, and you can write like the plus mark is raining from the cloud. So the plus, it's really very simple story. Like the topic itself is giving the answer. What is the advantages of cloud computing? The advantages of cloud computing is addition sign, which is known as plus mark, and then bifurcated like P is for paper use, L for low maintenance cost, U unlimited storage, then data security, then mobility, excellent accessibility, restoring and backup of data, and improved collaboration. So with this, we have come to the end of this particular slide, and write blown away in the chat section if this particular technique was helpful to you. Quickly, quickly, quickly. ब्लोन अवे ब्लोन अवे ब्लोन अवे वो ब्लोन अवे 1 मिनट में याद हो गया ब्लोन अवे ब्लोन अवे ब्लोन अवे आई यूज टू मेक मेनी पॉइंट्स. So the thing is that you don't have to use, like, if you are not feeling comfortable with one memory technique, then you can use the another memory technique. And this particular memory technique can be used like when you know that if I get a hint also of this particular answer, then I would be able to remember the whole answer. So in this way, you can just create a small alphabet, like you can use alphabets to make a word instead of writing the entire story. But if you think that I won't be able to memorize that particular answer if I don't create a story, then in that particular case, you can create a story. And if you think hint is enough, then just use the alphabets and create a word and connect it with a question. And now we are moving. And now we are moving to the last memory technique of the day. And after that, I would be giving you an offer. So the next, and before moving on to the next slide, kindly take a screenshot of it so that you can refer it to later on. And now I am moving on to the next slide, and which is the final memory technique. And these are all the tried and tested techniques like I have practically used during the examination hall, and it has helped me like get so many qualifications. So these are rare techniques which people don't use it, and which is very very simple. And if you use it, you can easily score like what can I say, like your percentage you can increase by 20 or 30%. And this is the Mona Lisa painting which I have drawn. So this is the diagram technique. So basically with the like you can see what kind of rubbish I have drawn into this particular page. So basically you don't have to be a great artist to follow this particular technique. All the main thing is that you need to be a bit creative, and you should be able to use symbols. You should be able to use any kind of symbol which can be depicting something. So in this, what I have done is the As I already told that I have created the answer in three different ways for one particular question itself. So in this diagram, what I did, like this is the clouds. So basically cloud computing, and these are the addition signs. So the plus mark is raining. So basically it is helping me to remember. So basically it is helping me to remember the like that it is the advantages of the cloud computing. And now in this particular box, something is taking place in my, some kind of disturbance is taking place. For a moment, I am stopping this particular sharing and restarting it. Just wait for a moment. Okay, now here we are again. So I have created a room. Like what is happening? That there is a cloud and it's raining. So here I have created this particular room where everything is taking place. Like supposingly you can imagine that you are here because you are in this room because the rain is there is raining outside. So what is happening in this room? Like there is a big hardware. So these two particular word like big and hardware, both are helping you to remember two different points. Like what is this hardware standing for? Like there is a point backup and restore data. So basically this hardware would be helping you to take backup of data. I use the word hardware because it would be helping me to remember that there is a kind of hard disk which will be helping me to take backup of a data. And I use the word big because this word would help me to remember unlimited storage capacity. You could have done something else, so I have created this one big box inside this room, and in the and top of that I have written big hardware, where the hardware would be remember helping me remember backup of data, and big would help me remember unlimited storage capacity. And on top of that there is a small rectangle which is a mobile phone. Basically it is helping me to remember mobility. And since it is a very big hardware and it consists of a lot of important information, so I have hired four bodyguards to take care of it. So bodyguards, what is doing it? Like bodyguard is for the purpose of security, so it will help me remember data security. And since there is nothing to do inside this particular room and it's getting pretty boring, so what these bodyguards are doing, these bodyguards are doing collaborations. They are making collaboration reel on the Instagram. So in this way, like I have drawn it two bodyguards side by side and it will help me remember, okay, they are making some kind of collaboration. Now since they are maintaining my data, I am giving them money. Now this is money. Now what is money made up of? Paper. So this paper would help me remember paper use, and also at the same time what I am paying them for the maintenance. For the maintenance purpose I am incurring a cost. So basically this one particular point is helping me remember this particular symbol is helping me remember 2 points, that is paper use and low maintenance cost. And also since this particular hardware is so big that it is radiating heat and the entire temperature of the room is going too high, so what I did, like I created an AC. Like what is this AC for? This AC is for accessibility, so helping me remember the excellent accessibility. So this is the way by which I am able to create a nonsense drawing, but this nonsense drawing is helping me remember the answer easily. It might appear a bit difficult in the beginning that how you would be using your creativity, but over a period of time after drawing for two to like practicing for 3 to 4 answer, you would easily be able to replicate it. You would be able, like you would become fluent in using it. Like even I used to draw it initial days, then it would used to take me a lot of time. But when I got fluent with it, then I can easily take up any image and connect it with any image, and it took me hardly 5 to 10 minutes to create such kind of drawing. So instead of memorizing and mugging an answer for an hour, you can simply use this kind of simple images to memorize the answer. So if anybody want to take the screenshot of this particular slide, then take, write in the chat box, blown away if this particular technique was helpful. Blown away, blown away, blown away, blown away. It feels really very empowering when you all guys comment, and when I see your this kind of comment, then also I also get motivated to give you more and more. And I'm really very very thankful to all you to be so like taking so much initiative to write on the comment section. So now you can take the screenshot of this particular slide also without the pointers which I have been using earlier. So at this particular time, you can ask me any kind of question and I would like to answer it. And then with your due permission, I would move on to the next section so that I can help you even more. So write in the chat box if there is any kind of question so that I can help you right now. Because when I move on to the next section, then I won't be able to take any more questions. Then I will have to continue with that particular topic itself. So if there is any kind of question, then you can ask right now. I'm giving you 2 minutes to write down all your questions. So, sir, how to focus? The key to the focus is that you will have to avoid the distractions. And as I already told, that the mind is flooded with all the kind of distractions. So keep a copy with yourself and write down all your distraction in that particular copy to be dealt on later on. And also at the same time, you have to meditate. Start meditating so that you can improve your concentration level. And stick something on your wall, like keep a goal to yourself, because if you are creating too many goals, then what will happen, then you would be losing the focus. Like a magnifying glass, what does it do? Like it takes up the sun's energy and focus it into a ray, like all the rays into a single point of the paper to burn it. So basically you have to use all your energy towards one particular goal, and if you have creating too many goals and ambitions in this particular time, then what will happen, then you won't be able to focus. So create a goal, write it down like very specific goal and paste it on the wall and keep seeing that particular goal on a daily basis. What will happen because of that? There is reticular cortex in our brain, like what we say, like manifestation. What is, why does it happen? Because we have got reticular cortex in our brain. What does it do? Like supposingly if you want a top or shoes, then what will happen from the next day onward, you would be noticing top of everybody, shoes of everybody. Why is this happening? Because there is a goal in your mind that you want something, and because of that the reticular activating system gets activated and reticular cortex takes up the command. So write a goal and fix it on the wall and see it on a daily basis, and because of that reticular cortex will get activated and it will help you focus on your main goal. Sir, imagine that for 250 questions, for each question do we need to memorize like this? No, it's not necessary that you have to create the like the shortcuts for everybody, every topic. Like if you can easily remember one particular topic, then it's not necessary that you have to create shortcut for that particular topic. You have to create shortcuts for those things which you are not being able to memorize. And I have cleared CA, and apart from that, I have cleared a lot more qualifications by using all these techniques. And my memory is very poor, so I used to create the shortcuts. Initially it might appear that it is going to take a lot of time, but supposingly if you're studying five topics during the day in a particular class, then create five shortcuts on the daily basis. So in this way, these 250 questions would be covered in the 50 days. It might be appearing 250 questions, a lot many questions, but if you distribute it along 50 days, then it would be just five questions a day, and it would hardly take 1 to 1.5 hours to create the shortcut. The advantage of it is that during the final examination, you won't to have to go through the entire book. You will just have to go through this particular shortcuts. Like there is a subject called ISCA in the CA final, and that book was of 500 pages. I had created a shortcut copy, and I had covered the entire topics in just 50 pages. I didn't complete get through the that 500 page book. I just went through the shortcut copy on that 50 pages copy, and in the examination I was able to score 62. So it might appear that there are so many questions, how many shortcuts we are going to create. But when you create shortcuts on a daily basis instead of procrastinating it, it would rather become a fun activity, and till you reach till the examination you would be having the shortcut for everything. And moreover, if you think that still you don't want to create shortcut, then at least create shortcuts for the important topics. The teachers would be telling you that this is the important topic for the examination, and when you are studying you also get the hunch inside that okay, this is an important topic, I should be serious about this particular topic, so you can create shortcut for that particular topic. Shivani, what about the unlimited storage capacity, sir, in the diagram technique? As I told, big hardware. Both the different word have different meaning. The hardware was for the backup, and big was for the unlimited storage capacity. I think you haven't paid the attention. The unlimited storage, that word big, the big denotes the unlimited storage capacity. Since it is big, that's why its storage capacity is unlimited. If it was small, then its storage capacity would have been limited. Ritika, sir, how to overcome from the exam fear? Due to that, I forget concept in the examination. The thing is that we think that the exam fear is a negative thing, but a bit of fear is very much important for us. And because of that, what happens that we know that the exam is an important thing, and we start studying. The thing is that you forget the concept because you haven't learned it in a proper way. Like whatever the memory techniques I have told you, if you would be using it, then the examination hall it would come naturally to you. You won't have to force yourself to remember the answer, that what was the answer of this particular question. If you see the question, the answer would come instantly to yourself, to you. You won't have to like pressurize your brain to remember the answer. Also at the same time, I think you are not like drinking water amply and not doing the aerobic exercises or sleeping properly. So these are the basic small things which I've already told you have to do it. You have will have to properly drink water, do meditation, do aerobic exercises, and it is going to impact you in at an overall level. Because in the CA examination, like I would be telling my story, like what I used to do in class 12 was I used to study a lot and lot. I used to compromise with my sleep also, and because of that my percentage instead of going higher it went lower, because I wasn't feeling like giving the examination, I was panicking. So I didn't did the same mistake in the CA IPCC. So what I was doing, like when my syllabus was completed, I daily used to play for 3 to 4 hours during the day. So I was studying for 9 to 10 hours a day and playing 3 to 4 hours a day. And because of that, I was being able to keep myself calm. and I was feeling rejuvenated on a daily basis. So inculcate all those things like meditation, aerobic exercises, and in this way you would be able to overcome your exam fear. But make sure that you are studying amply too. How to remain stick to study consistently and continuously. Now the thing is that for that you have will have to understand how the brain functions. What happens that we becomes too optimistic when it comes to study. Like I'm saying, like you might be thinking that I'm saying something opposite, but actually what happens that when we create routine, we think that from the next day onwards we would be studying for 12 hours a day or 14 hours a day, but we don't even have the habit of studying for 4 hours a day or 5 hours a day. And because of that, we what we are doing, like we are making a hyper optimistic routine from the next day onwards. So because of that, what is happening, you are not habituated to study like that. And because of that, instead of, like when you have created a routine, you are not being able to follow that routine, and so you are not being able to maintain the consistency. So what is necessary is that you have to gradually push yourself. You have to understand that okay, 4 hours is your limit. So next week push for 6 hours a day, then push for 8 hours a day, then for push for 10 hours a day. Don't gradually jump from 4 hours a day to 14 hours a day. It won't be happening. Though there are situations where the people are able to push from 4 to 14 hours a day, and that happens when there is an emotionally significant event. But in normal day to day like life, it doesn't take place on a daily basis. So we have to understand how our brain works, and we have to gradually push ourselves. And in that way we would be able to stick to the study routine and consistently follow it. So I guess I have covered all the question. And now my question to you is this: do you want to start your journey to become a topper and clear every exam easily? And if I have your permission, then I would be moving forward. So write in the chat box permission, permission granted. Write in the chat box permission granted, and then only I would be moving forward. As I already told in the initial, like the starting of the meeting, that I would be giving you an offer, and I would be revealing the offer right now only if I have your permission. I don't want to be pushy. I want to help you guys. And if you feel that like I can definitely help you out, then definitely give it a try. Because if you think that I have given X amount of value in this particular webinar, then I can give you 10x more benefit if I have your permission. Permission granted, permission granted, permission granted. Okay, thank you so much to listening to me. And now I am moving forward. So before I present my offer, first of all, I will be telling you about myself so that you can understand who am I and who I am the person to guide you, to help you. So basically, I am not a genius. So I am not at all a genius, but an average student with an extraordinary studying skills. Like if you think that I'm going to give you genius things, like I can make you genius, no. But if you want studying techniques which can help you grow, then definitely I am the person with whom you can associate with. Like in the childhood, like I had failed in 7 out of 11 subjects in class 4, and even in the pre-board I had failed. Like after my father had like expired in when I was in class 9, from then onwards I was trying to excel in the studies. Because there was a like incident which took place, and in that particular incident what happens that my every relative were telling that I'm not at all good in studies, then I should drop from the study. And go to the business, and my mother was having no words to tell them, and that moment was like hurt me a lot. So from then onwards, like I was struggling, like I was experimenting with the studies and was trying to make myself better. So though I failed in 7 out of 11 subjects, and in the pre-board I failed in 2 subjects, I was still struggling to identify how to study. Then, like I was saying, in the Dhupgudi, it's a very like a town type area, and from there I went to the Siliguri for the higher studies. Then in class 12 CBSE business studies, I scored 99 in business studies and overall 91.5%. And it was the first time when I scored above 90%, because I have never seen 90% in my entire life. Then after that, I went on to the doing CA. And in CA IPCC, I was the North Bengal topper with 98 marks in accounting. And in the college, I secured fourth rank in BCom honors, then cleared CA final. I didn't clear the CA final in the first attempt, I cleared in the second attempt. And in the second attempt also, I only got 1 month leave. And during that 1 month leave, the very next day, I was suffering from insomnia. I was suffering from in chicken pox, and insomnia was also going on. And I had a heartbreak at that particular moment. Like I was undergoing teenage issues like the breakup, and because of that also depression was taking place. So I was struggling all together, like suffering from all this thing and handling both the group of CA final in this one particular month. And even though I was going through all this, then also I was able to pull it both the groups together. Then after that, I cleared DISA examination, which is a post CA qualification. And out of 100 CA, only 3 to 4 CAs are able to clear this. Then I cleared DIRM examination, which is also a post CA qualification. And I was West Bengal topper and AIR All India rank 4 in it. Then I cleared the NISM registered value SFA examination. And in North Bengal, I am the only person to clear it so far. Also, then I cleared the MCOM FNT. Then I cleared survey and loss assessor examination, NISM social auditor examination, cleared UGC NET commerce thrice. And also apart from that, I have read over 150 plus self-help books, out of which some of the knowledge I have used in this particular webinar too. So it's not that I have only experimented in academic life, but I had curiosity in understanding all the things by which how the brain functions, so that I can add value to the people. So this is my story, and now I am going to present my offer to you all. So the offer is that I have created an entire program, Ultimate Study Mastery, in which the main courses include mindset mastery, because in life the success, as it is said, that the success is 80% of your attitude and 20% skill, and that 80% of attitude is missing in people, because of which we are not able to think properly. Like we are having exam fear, we are not able to concentrate, we are fearing future. So these are all the mindset aspects and which need to be taken care of. So I created an entire section of mindset mastery in it. Then study skill mastery, like someone was asking that, okay, these techniques are useful for the theory subjects, but what about the practical subjects? For that also there is study skills. You need to know how to manage these practical subjects. And even like I had used these techniques personally and had got exemptions in all the subjects. And as if it wasn't useful, then obviously I wouldn't have been able to pull off the CA final both group in 1 month. And even though I was going from chickenpox, insomnia, and depression, so I've created an entire module in it, study skill mastery. Then I have created a module, memory mastery. Like whatever techniques I have presented in here, I have also given there. And there are more number of techniques. Like I have told you how to memorize the words, but there are techniques by which you can even memorize the numbers, you can memorize the sections, laws, and everything. So there, if there is any kind of complicated thing, you can be memorized, able to memorize it. So all there are techniques. And then there are bonus courses also, like sleep mastery. As I told that I have read over three books on this particular topic, because doctors won't be having time to tell you about it, and there won't be people around you who might like there won't be enough people who would be able to help you in this particular thing. So I have created an entire section so that I can help you with this topic also. And then there is habit development mastery. Like people say that they have suffering from they are having focus issues. So I have created this particular section, habit development mastery, so that they can improve their focus and stay consistent in their studies. Apart from this, the other bonuses in it is that you become a VIP WhatsApp member for 1 month. Like while you are assessing this particular program, and if you're not being able to understand what is in that particular video or something, you can definitely text me and you can say that you're not being able to understand it. And if some particular topic is missing in these sections, you can directly tell me and I will create a special video for you and inculcate into the course, so that no stone stays unturned, and I would be able to, and so that I would personally be able to provide you the entire benefit. Then there would be weekly and fortnightly basis live doubt clearing sessions for 52 weeks. That is for a whole year. I would be providing you the live doubt clearing sessions, so that it's not like that I have provided you the membership and I have left you alone. I would be taking weekly basis, or weekly or fortnightly basis. I would be taking sessions and clear your doubt. Then you would be getting an accountability partner or a friend with whom you can discuss your doubts. Like when I am giving you access to the particular program, and if you are not being able to understand, then you would be having a friend with whom you can like talk with regard to the particular program. Then after the completion of the course, you would be getting a completion certificate after you give me the intimation about it. You would be getting the lifetime access to the recorded courses. You won't have to pay anything later on. The recorded sessions would be for the lifetime purpose. Then get free lifetime access to all the upgradations within the course. So if there is any kind of upgradation within this particular course, you won't have to pay anything. And also there is an earning opportunity. Like when you get access to this particular program and if you refer to your friend, then you would be getting 50% referral commission. So in this way you would be able to help your friend also, and at the same time you would be able to generate some kind of pocket money for yourself. And the last but not the least, that is, you would be having a one-on-one call with me personally. You would be able to call me one-on-one personally one time, and you can discuss your issues with me, and I would be helping you in that particular call itself. Now, this all the sections, this is not the final price. Stay till the end, and I would be disclosing you the ultimate offer, and it is definitely going to blow your mind. So don't get afraid by seeing these all the amounts. Though the market price is for these main courses like 24,000, bonus course is for 6,000. Other bonuses which I have told is including level 1 and level 2 both. It's approximately 50,000, and the total price is like 80,000. But I am not providing it at 80,000 at all. The offer price is 9,999. Now there is even a special offer. Now there is even more special offer, and that is for the for the first 5 action taker, you would be getting for the 70% discount. So it would be 2,998, and it would be only for the first 5 action takers, because I won't be able to help each and everybody, because I have also got the limited time. So I have to give those time to the 5 action taker who are serious in their studies, so that I can help them in their study journey. And now I am going to send a link in the WhatsApp in this particular chat group, and in this particular chat group you can go through this particular course. Just a minute, I am sharing in the group chat. I have provided the link in the chat. and also the coupon code, that is the USM70, to get the 70% discount. And also I'm giving an assurance that if you are not satisfied with this particular course, then within 3 days you can tell me and I would be refunding you the entire money. Now there can be common objections of you all, which I'm going to discuss too. And this is that I don't need a mentor. Many students say that I don't need a mentor. But the thing is that if you don't have a mentor, then you won't be having the direction to go. Like you personally used to had a lot of mentors for every subject. So if you don't have a mentor, then you won't be having the direction. Like I was having a lot of issues. Like I had to figure everything by myself, and that was very troublesome. And if I had got mentor at that particular time, then I might have even scored ranks during my CA examinations. So the thing is that if you think that you don't need a mentor, then it's definitely going to cost you a lot. Also, the student says that the offer is expensive. I can't afford it. But supposingly, if you fail in your examination, how costly would that be? You would be losing an entire 6 months or a year or even your entire career because you find this offer expensive. So, because of that, what would be happening? You would be spoiling your career. So if you feel that this is expensive, then see that how expensive would be your 6 months or 1 year or your 2 year or your entire career. Now there is also a doubt, that is I think I won't be able to follow it as I am very average student. But the thing is that it is not meant for the genius too. I am myself an average student, and because I personally consider myself an even and below average student. But the techniques are so useful and it works for itself. Like even if you're not a good student, then also the system will work for itself. So you don't have to worry that whether it would be helping you or not. It is definitely going to help you. And if you follow it properly, then definitely the system is definitely going to make you not only clear the examination, like it can even make you a topper. Because in the CAIPCC, I was able to score exemptions in 5 subjects. And even in the CA final, I was able to score 60 plus in the CA final in 3 subjects, even though I had only got 1 month leave. So you don't have to be a genius. Even if you're an average student, then also it's going to work for you. Then there is a common doubt that people, students say that it would become a burden on my existing study. So apparently it might appear that it can become a burden on your existing study. But in actual, if you're not implementing the techniques, then you would be increasing the number of hours being spent on your studies. Like you have been in this particular webinar for 1.5 hours and you learned a lot of techniques. Now if you use these particular techniques, you would be able to reduce the time spent in the studies. So if you think that this is a burden, then in actually you are creating a burden on yourself by using the same old pattern again and again. If you're not learning, if you're not relearning, then what will happen? You are going to affect yourself. Okay, Jeet Agarwal has asked how you would be conducting, live or recorded. Actually, it would be live and recorded both. The recorded sessions would be available in the app itself. You would, after the payment is made, you would be given access to the recorded sessions. And also at the same time, weekly and fortnightly basis, live sessions would be taken from time to time, where you could be asking me the doubts and I would be clearing it in the session itself. And even after that, I am giving you a level 2 advantage as of right now as a bonus, which is that you can DM me personally if there isn't any kind of video with related to your problem. Then I would be personally solving that issue and creating a separate video for you and inculcate in that particular course itself. So in every way, I would be helping you till the end, because your success is my success and I want everybody to succeed. Just think that how much value did you got in this particular webinar itself. Like in within this 1.5 hours you were benefited by this much. Then just imagine that if you get the entire knowledge of mine, then how much it's going to affect you, how much it's going to help you out. It's just a no-brainer thing. And if you go to the market and you hire a mentor, then they would be charging nothing less than 50,000. And here you are getting all the benefit just for 3,000, even less than 3,000. Your monthly food expenses would be more, even more than this. You might be going to the useless, hopeless movies for which you have spent thousands of rupees. And then also you were like, okay, it's done. But you think that if I pay for this particular course, then would I become like a it if it would be a wrong decision for me. So basically this, if you think that it could be a wrong decision for you, then just think for a moment that if you lose 6 months or 12 months, then how big mistake can that be? And if you this particular course and if you clear the examinations easily, then what will happen? You would be able to make your parents proud, you would be able to earn more. This 3,000 would be nothing. Sir, if I pay now, is it 10,000 or 3,000 for the entire course? It's 3,000 right now, as of now. But if the session ends and if you buy after that, then I can't guarantee it because the coupon code is for the limited time itself, and then the price can rise to the 10,000 rupees. So this is for the limited period only. Come on, student, ask me any if there is any kind of objections from your side. I want to know. I want how can what are your problems and how can I help you? All I want is your success, because if you succeed, then only I would be able to use my knowledge to help others too. If you still have a doubt, then it's just your ignorance. You're just ignoring that okay dekha jayega type, ki okay let it be, it will happen. And because of this, what are you doing? You are just playing with your life. Like there is a fast lane and there is a slow lane. So if you don't have a mentor, then definitely you are going to follow a slow lane. But if you have a mentor, then definitely you would be having a edge over others. Like in the webinar itself, you feel that particular difference. So how much difference can it be created if you get all my knowledges and implement into your studies? And also a lot of people are struggling because of the half knowledge. And if you still if you are still indecisive, then definitely it can happen that you can also be among those who are going to struggle in future. Come on, let me give you a sneak peek into the I will be giving you a sneak peek into my course. Like when you would be visiting my website, then this is how the website looks. And you can see here the bestseller, the ultimate study mastery for 9,999, and you can click on it and then write the code USM 70 and you would be getting 70% discount.